Welcome to Rets Races, where today we'll be reviewing the Emilia Romagna, also known as the Imola Grand Prix. Firstly, because we had the first sprint race weekend of the season, which although it was an entertaining sprint race, it meant that the shaken up grid from qualifying was kind of undone before the main feature race on Sunday. Nonetheless, it was a damp weekend which led to some fantastic racing. Max Verstappen, having won the sprint race, started on pole and led the charge from the very start of the Grand Prix. Further back in the pack, it was predictably chaotic in the rain, and Daniel Ricciardo got a little bit out of shape and unfortunately wiped Carlos Sainz, which meant he and his Ferrari missed out on a second race in a row and left Daniel with a substantial amount of damage. The other McLaren was much more fortunate. Lando Norris was making moves up into third position, which he managed to hold on to, eventually gaining a podium position, his first one of the season. Charles Leclerc was hunting down the two Red Bulls, but unfortunately towards the end he got just that little bit too desperate as he pitted for softs and kept pushing too hard, and ultimately took too much curb and sent his Ferrari into the wall. Whilst he did manage to get going again, he had to pit for a new front wing, and he only recovered up to 7th position, losing his vital podium place. It was a good race for Pierre, who managed to fend off Lewis Hamilton for lap after lap, despite Hamilton having DRS. There was a pit stop frenzy this weekend, as once Daniel Ricciardo had pitted for slicks early on, teams realised that they too could manage this change to dry tyres, causing an absolute frenzy in the pit lane and Ocon to do an unsafe release, almost crashing into Hamilton in the pit lane. What was unusual about this race was how long it took for DRS to be enabled. Of course, DRS can be delayed due to weather conditions and other factors around the track, but it just seemed a bit coincidental that after a lot of debate as to the relevance of DRS due to the games of DRS chicken we have seen in recent races, potentially the FIA was seeing this as an experiment as to whether racing could eventually move away from DRS. The midfield was highly entertaining, and Valtteri Bottas and Kevin Magnussen kept us entertained with their overtakes. This race proved that these 2022 cars were able to follow closely even without the use of DRS. So it isn't just an issue of a DRS train. These cars can follow closer in dirty air. Ultimately, because of the classic circuit and the changeable weather conditions, and even potentially because of the sprint race, this was an enjoyable Grand Prix to watch. There was lots of action and lots of strategy involved. And once again, Max Verstappen reigned supreme. Although you have to feel for Ferrari as they suffered the gut punch of a Red Bull 1-2 on their home turf. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to this channel and follow @RetRaces on Twitter for updates.